Hello everyone and welcome back to Homestuck. Last episode we finished the supports, for lack of a better word. All these conversations are done. Hell yeah. There was some interesting stuff in there. Some good characterization. You'll love to see it. If you want to see it a week early, you can become a member and these episodes will, be accessible to you a week early. Also, like and subscribe if you're enjoying. Okay, let's continue. Okay.
Okay, everybody, time's up. Wrap up your conversations. Our tactical meeting is officially back in order.
Stand on the fridge.
All right, has everyone shut up yet?
I think so.
Great. Let's not waste another second then. I'm diving right into this. Everyone pay close attention and try to keep up. I'll start by describing the exact nature of the threats we're dealing with, and we'll go from there. According to intelligence gathered during our trip, along with some reconnaissance work on arrival, the session has 4, possibly 5 major adversaries. The Condess, of course, and 3 Jack Noirs of varying levels of danger. Plus, there's a female Prospidian of equivalent power to the strongest Jack. She's sort of an X factor.
The X is all crazy looking.
It's hard to accurately gauge her threat level, but I'm not about to take any chances. All of these threats are just outside the Inciposphere, en route to the session as we speak. Once they arrive, all hell will break loose. That's when Endgame is officially go. You only have a couple of hours to prepare, so you need to listen to every word I say. Victory will depend on following my plans to the letter.
Rose Sprite, Jasper Sprite, here.
So, where's the Condess right now? She's on Durs, preparing the same critical convergence herself. After our little prison raid caught her completely off guard, costing her some hostages and key points of leverage, we've essentially reached a temporary ceasefire by default while both sides regroup. This is not how she expected things would go. We had the advantage of surprise that time, but we won't be so lucky next time. She's waiting for the Jacks to get here just like we are. Once they do, she'll instantly have the upper hand, and she knows it. Her particular combination of abilities, along with her supervillain-like cunning, makes her extremely dangerous. Part of this equation. That's why we need a good strategy in place before the shit hits the breeze blender.
So, in addition for waiting for way too many Jacks to get here, we're also waiting for my bro too, right? Who, gets here at the same time, or...?
Yes, the other Strider was banished to the periphery as well, and is in transit. He'll arrive at the same time, give or take, and should be a great tactical asset. Sources tell me the dude is pretty good with a sword.
That's me! I'm the source! I told her that, and it's true!
Yes, thank you, Arqueus. This is starting to sound a bit complicated. How are we supposed to keep track of all of these villains and heroes coming and going when and where? You're right, CrAaAAAAzy. At this point in the meeting, I think we could use some diagrams to help with the battle plans. CrAaAAAAzy, if you wouldn't mind.
Why would you get CrAaAAAAzy to draw them?
I still have no idea why you put me on drawing duty. I'm easily the worst artist here. And in a setting that includes Dave, let's be real, that's no small feat.
I specifically assigned you to diagramming duties so that it would keep you occupied. That way you'd stand a chance of keeping your mouth shut while I talk strategy.
That's worked out great so far, hasn't it? We've lost how many strategy seconds to me complaining about drawing already?
Sure, but I know that drawing requires a lot of concentration from you. Once you're in the zone, I expect you'll simmer down.
Wow, fuck you! You're probably right, but fuck you nevertheless. Where the shit is my art pencil? I have some drawing to do.
Skaya, we are here. Strider, dogs, Hick, other Jack. Okay. Let's run down the threat list with a full debriefing on each threat. We'll start with the big fish herself, the former empress of our world, her imperious condescension. The only reason we've been able to temporarily neutralize her stranglehold on this session is by taking 2 major pieces away from her, Harley and Crocker. Rest assured, she's already scheming to reassert her dominance, and if it weren't for my intervention, I'd bet everything I had on the Sea Witch. She'd spent centuries upgrading her abilities, which now include both kinds of telekinesis. The simpler variety, more common to rust-bloods, and the nasty kind, which sometimes yellow-blooded mutants have, involving all the fucking eye lasers and shit. If that weren't enough, she's a mix of telepathic abilities too, like mine, plus the animal communion kind of typical of brown bloods.
Like me!
Yes, Tavros, like you. This means she can hijack animals and trolls, assuming they aren't particularly resistant to influence, like me, obviously. Humans, I'm guessing, are still off limits to her influence, unless they've got some animal blood in them, which is what makes Jade such a dangerous element here. One of the mission-critical priorities is to make sure she stays asleep. If she ever wakes up and the Condescend takes over control again, that's probably game over for you guys. Jade's first Guardian abilities make her too much to deal with on top of everything else. It's also possible that the Condescend may have some sway over the Prospidian, and one of the Jacks because of their part-dog nature too. It's hard to say what their level of resistance is, so I can't really be sure. Strategically, it's best to err on the safe side, though. I presume this could be an issue. This is why taking on the Condescend has to be a huge priority. Ideally, we should be trying to kill or disable her as quickly as possible. But if that's easier said than done, then what you need to do is keep her occupied. Throw everything you have at her, whatever crazy powers you've got. Just keep her busy. Distracted enough by a bunch of pesky kids so she won't have time to get clever with her powers. This is the best defense against the off chance she might be able to sway Dog Jack and the Prospidian, and a failsafe in case Jade wakes up for some other reason. When it comes to killing her, I don't have much to advise. There's no intel on her weaknesses or anything like that. In fact, I bet she doesn't even have any. Likely, like any powerful endgame boss, you just have to keep hammering away at her until she's dead. Enough said.
Alright.
Yep, it's the Jacks.
This brings up the Jacks. To differentiate, I'll give them nicknames. There's Dog Jack, Lord Jack, and Robo Jack. Let's talk about them in order of threat level. CrAaAaAazy, I'm gonna need another shitty drawing. This time of Dog Jack and his Prospidian counterpart, please.
No.
Ah, yes. I see you are intent on being a wiggler about this, as we've all come to expect. Whatever. I've been working within the confines of everyone's stupid limitations already, so I might as well work around yours as well.
Hey, there we go.
There, perfect. Dog Jack is easily the most powerful adversary of the bunch, in terms of pure physical capability. The Condescend has an edge in guile and flexibility, and Lord Jack has a ton of offensive power too, but there's nothing quite like the first Guardian abilities to give someone an overwhelming tactical advantage. The ability to teleport anywhere in the session anytime, or anyone anywhere at any time, while having access to an inexhaustible power supply from the Green Sun, really makes it no contest. Again, even against an otherwise awesome combatant. If it were just him you had to deal with, I wouldn't like your odds, honestly. But luckily for us, there's a major factor here which should mostly neutralize him during this huge melee, which is the Prospidian. Power-wise, she's a precisely even match for him, and better yet, she apparently can't stand the guy. I still don't know what her real motives are, but you know what they say, enemy of my enemy and all. So I say let her have at him, and if the opportunity presents itself, help her defeat him. I will also give this bit of advice. If Jade ever wakes up and the Condescend is sufficiently preoccupied, make sure Jade goes nowhere near the Condescend and sick her on Dog Jack. She's the only one whose abilities are on par with his, so that's where they're best applied. Got it? Good. Next, Lord Jack. CrAaAaAazy.
Kiss my shame globes.
It's okay.
How does this look?
Great. I think I can work with this. Ah yes, another true work of art has been made here today. Anyway, this ugly customer you see here, this is the Jack native to this session we're in now. Somehow he got possessed by, or like, infused with, Lord English's crazy, ridiculously destructive magical energy. I have no idea why or how this happened, how it's theoretically even possible, or why we should actually care. The fact of the matter is, it happened, and now we have to deal with this hideous rainbow-eyed monstrosity. Given what I learned about Jack about Lord English's abilities, this will make his attacks quite lethal, and he'll be extremely difficult to kill. In fact, that fucking rainbow energy might just give him the highest constitution ranking of any adversary, possibly making him the toughest one here to actually kill off. The only reason he's not at dog tier threat level is because... Also, it's funny, god tier, dog tier, yeah. For all his power, at least it's localized to wherever he happens to be. He's about as slow as any of us lowly non-omnipotents. He's not quite as relevant to keep occupied, or even to defeat, as the Condess herself, but he's still going to be huge trouble when he gets here. You're going to need to stick some really good fighters on him. My advice is also to seriously prepare for casualties during that fight. As the group's chief healer, Jane is going to need rapid access to multiple fronts of this battle. More on that later.
Not my friend, the one that stabs me friendly-like.
That brings us to Robo-Jack. He's the Jack originating from our session. Remember him, Carcat? We hatched a plan with him to take down the Black Queen. Seems like so long ago, doesn't it? Now apparently he's got some cybernetic upgrades. Who the fuck knows how that happened? Or for that matter, why or how he's on his way here now. My mind boggles trying to even picture the amount of stupid shit he's been through between now and when we knew him. Put this on the ever-lengthening list of garbage that doesn't matter and nobody cares about. The fact is, we have no idea what his affiliations are at this point. But like I always say, best to just plan for the worst and assume this is just another scrub we gotta kill. He's the lowest on the threat level, though his various enhancements and accessories may pose more of a challenge than we bargained for. He's also traveling with a Juju known for its high storage capacity, so he's possibly packing company. Maybe a lot of company. I won't get into that right now, though.
I forgot he has, like, all the felt, right? Anyway.
You're going to need to reserve a squad for dealing with this guy and whoever he's brought along for the ride. It's a lesser priority, so I'd recommend an ensemble of third stringers. No offense to whoever those brave souls may be. Every lame wad has their place in an epic battle, and everyone's effort counts. Egbert-looking kid, I'm looking at you. Possibly you too, Tavros, maybe. That covers the overall tactical situation. Great job, Carcat. Really, just an all-around great job. I mean that.
Thank you.
Now listen, we've got to keep these battles spread out across the session so you don't all start tripping on each other's toes, turning this into more of a clusterfuck than it already is. That means you need to station teams ready to intercept the Jacks wherever they're coming from. You also need to launch your lightning strike raid on the Condess before any of them get here. As for the party's healer, like I said, she'll need to be highly mobile. So what you'll need to do is lay out a network of key portals and transporters so she can make the rounds and be in tight communication with her. One of you less relevant, more mobile folks should get on that now.
So, like, maybe Roxy. I do like that we're basically planning for a raid, like, in a video game. This is fun.
See? Scatter window portals like these around the various battle sites. Yo, did you loot my house or something? Please don't interrupt. Transportalizers will work too, if you can get them all hooked up right. This is definitely busy work, but it's also really important, so we need someone competent in charge of this.
Oh, it's Rose Sprite, okay.
I think I can handle that. Yeah? Yes, I'm quite mobile in this new form. Also, I think my abilities will help with forecasting the optimal network to lay out, along with helping Jane coordinate her routes during battle. Plus, I have to admit, I kind of relish the idea of being a less relevant party member, particularly since I think it's inherently true now. Okay, Rose Sprite, that's great. You can volunteer for that job if you want, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll be divvying up the roles momentarily, but cool. We'll have you down for that. Again, it's critical. The whole party will need to defend Crocker's life at all costs. She can't get sucked into any combat. If she dies, we'll all be fucked. Be sure to fill her in on the logistics whenever Arqueus has finished deprogramming her. Everyone got it? Awesome. Since that pretty much thoroughly covers the full tactical situation, we can move on to the real strategizing. And now, we can assign combat roles.
Vriska, wait. Before you go on, I just wanted to say, I'm really impressed with your strategic analysis so far. You really seem to be all over this stuff. I wouldn't even know where to begin figuring it out. Anyway, I'm glad we have you back on our side.
Aw, thanks, John. Just thought I'd say, I didn't want you to go through all this stuff for us thinking it was going unappreciated, so, anyway, please continue.
You got it. Now it's time to divide everyone up into teams. Let's go down the list of foes again and assign party members to each battle. Once again, starting from the top.
Cadess.
The Candace will lead a team to raid Durs again, but this time for all the marbles. And remember, the raid has to start before the rest of the action to keep her from getting the upper hand. And the party has to be at least good enough, if not defeat her, keep her busy for a long time. So who wants a piece of the Sea Witch?
Me.
Me. Alright, I've got 2 takers from the Lalonde camp. We'll need more though, who else?
I'll go.
You sure, John?
I think so. From what you said, it sounds like this is the most important battle. If we don't keep her busy, everything could get messed up. I think I'd be good at that. I can use all my windy powers for distractions and such.
Okay, you're with the Lalondes then. Make it count. I may as well go too. It would be a shame if the party defeating the woman who terrorized our planet for ages had no representation from our species. Shame or not, I'm afraid that won't work, Kanaya. Why not? You can't join their party. Well, not yet at least. There's another critical role which you specifically need to play first. We can't risk losing you in battle until it's complete. What is it? I'll explain later, after all the teams are set.
Alright.
Okay, let's say Team Cadess is good enough for now, with John, Rose, and Roxy. Next foe, Dog Jack. Like I said, we're banking on the Prospidian, keeping him busy so he's not an immediate battle priority. We won't designate a team for him right now, but, as I mentioned, in the event Jade wakes up for some reason, she should be reserved exclusively for this fight. That means someone needs to tell her, if not in person, then some other way. Perhaps leave a reminder for her, maybe tied to her finger or something. Wink. Others can join the fight against him if need be, once their targets have been dealt with. Until then, better let the heavy hitters keep him in check. Next, Lord Jack. Who wants to die to this guy? Who wants dibs? Who wants dibs on this guy? Okay, a little bit less sad, okay.
I guess that's me.
Okay, Dave.
There are all these rumors swirling around that I gotta beat Lord English anyway, which is probably bogus, but whatever. Killing this guy at least would be the next best thing, right? So maybe if I do that, I could, put the prophecy to rest.
That logic sounds reasonable enough to me. For what it's worth, I never bought into the idea you were supposed to be the one to kill English anyway. So that's one down. Who else?
Why not?
You sure, Teresi? You're not immortal, remember? And this one's gonna be tough.
You said we need good fighters to go with this guy, and I think I'm pretty decent. At least at stabbing things, so I'll go. Besides, someone has to witness Dave's heroism if he wants to be let off the hook for that prophecy.
Hey, it's your decision. Anyone else?
What about Dave's bro? I heard he's supposed to be hot shit. Yeah, sure. That's fine if, you're comfortable volunteering someone who isn't here for a deadly battle. I mean, it's cool if you want to do that.
Dave, come on. As if it's not extremely likely he'll seek you out upon getting here anyway. Why don't we just pencil him in on team probably?
Ugh.
Just be sure to debrief him on the whole situation when he gets here. Think you can handle that, Dave? Okay, great. Which reminds me, what about you, Arqueus? How do you fit into this?
I haven't decided yet. I'm just gonna crunch some more numbers in the vast combat matrix I just compiled now, in the micro blink of a nanosecond to deduce the optimal strategic appropriation of my assets, i.e. muscles. Joining Real Dave in battle is semi-tempting, but I do not wish to horn in on Real Dirk's shit. Instead, I would prefer to blaze my own trail with my own hooves. I always wanted to do something really important and heroic. I mean, aside from all the other stuff I've done like that, which is quite a lot, but something quite grandiose and perfectly unmistakable as a gesture turning the tide of fortune for all existence. This is what I've always desired. Well, that is to say, both halves of me once had such ambivalent desire, which was compromised by our respective internalized conflict. But together, that desire is fully realized and no longer ambivalent. Nay, it is fully bivalent, perhaps even univalent. I would like my gesture to shock everyone. It must come from out of the blue, make virtually no sense, stun all involved, and have a lasting, profoundly unintelligible impact on all future and pseudo-future events. Does that answer your question?
Oh, sorry. I was just temporarily mesmerized by your incredible spiel. Needless to say, I absolutely agree with your philosophy of heroic action and wanting to do something important. In any case, you've earned the right to do whatever the fuck you want, just by dint of being awesome. End of story. Okay, next.
Wait, we're not gonna have to kill Miss Paint, right? Anyway.
We'll need to designate a team for Robojack and his entourage. Alright, full disclosure, this is where things get kind of stupid. Even talking about this guy and his crew is probably a waste of good tactical analysis. But the fact is he's going to be here, and you're going to have to deal with his bullshit. I strongly recommend the dregs of your party get stuck with mop-up duty on this. Really, I'm kind of laughing already. Oh man. I really don't want to spoil too much fun for you guys, but... No, I shouldn't.
What?
Okay, intelligence reports that I've gathered, namely through a bit of time-hopping reconnaissance, suggest that Robojack may, and I repeat, may, be in transit with a bunch of green time-traveling idiots in that oven. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, if true, none of those bozos are particularly powerful. They'll mainly just be a nuisance. So who wants to deal with them, Hey, kid. Kid! Yeah, I'm talking to you again. God damn it, what is his name? Joke?
Vriska, stop! It's Jape, and you know it!
Listen, Joke, snap out of it, I'm talking to you.
Oh, sorry.
This is a strategic session, Joke. Please stay alert. Now, do you think you can handle being on this team? Awesome, that's the spirit. This assignment should be right up your alley, kid. Who else?
Me, I'll do it!
Thanks for volunteering, Tavros. This fight is pretty well suited to your skill set, too. You can join Joke here and help him get ready. But there's one thing I need you to do before the battle starts.
Oh, really? What?
I'll explain it to you later in private, but it's critical and something only you can do.
Oh, that makes me, the funny feeling combination. A skeptical, nervous, and excited.
Good. That's exactly how you should be feeling about it, trust me. Anyone else here want to step forward?
Are you fucking with me now?
Come again?
Well, let's see if I'm tallying this up right. John and the Lalons, 1 and 2, are going on Team Candace. The Strider Bros and Pyrope are on the Lord team. Jade, when not on nap duty, is the dog team exclusively. The mayor ain't doing shit because I am personally seeing to it that not a single post-apocalyptic tatter on his head gets harmed. Cracker is on healing detail, and Lalon 3 volunteered to support that. CrAaAaAaAzy has some vague, yet-to-be-explained mission to do, and so does Tavros. And Joke here just got shunted off to the Pee-wee League. So who the fuck's even left aside from me? And the fucking cat, I guess. Are you sure we shouldn't pick a role for Rose's fucking cat, Lucis, before moving on to the absolute bottom of the barrel? Sometimes referred to as the Vantage Zone.
Oh, great point, Carcat. Hey there, kitty. Meow. What would you like to do?
I would like to eat some tuna fish and cuddle with either Rose or Roxy or both. Meow.
Aw, okay, that can be a very important job. Don't let us down. Purr, purr, purr.
Thank God we sorted that out. Now that we've established the kitty cat is heading up the fish-eating operation, I think we can safely proceed to the rung of strategic importance directly below that. The infamous, what is CrAaAaAazy going to do rung? And since everyone else has a job and my skills are relatively unimpressive, I'll have to sign up for Team Dipshit too. Hell, even the kid in the bandana hammock is a god tier at least, so I guess that means I'll be taking orders from him? Sure, why not? Second in command to a third-rate hero sounds about right to me.
Yes, Carcat, you're absolutely right. That you basically suck, and that as a tactical resource you should be managed accordingly. But you aren't joining Joke's team, or doing any fighting for that matter. Like CrAaAaAazy, there's a more pressing matter reserved for you. In fact, it's the same as hers.
What the fuck? When were you planning on telling me this?
Carcat, I already alluded to this when you waltzed over, interrupted my conversation with CrAaAaAazy, and pretended you weren't flirting with me, remember?
Oh, right. Well, what's this pressing matter?
I'm getting to that. Very soon, in fact. I just need to get the team squared away first.
Okay, well, are they?
Looks like it.
So that means Jake, really is a one-man team designated for Robojack and his bozos.
Apparently. You okay with that, kid? You can do it. Just believe in yourself, or whatever the fuck. When in doubt, just remind yourself the battle isn't even particularly important. And help could be on the way once some of the other battles start coming to some sort of resolution. So just hang in there, champ.
Okay.
Excellent. That concludes the tactical planning part of this debriefing. It's all perfectly logical, right? No questions or anything? Cool. Really, I shudder to think about what you numbskulls would be doing if I weren't around, like John just implied with his nice little remarks. He really did do you all the biggest fucking favor in the history of time shenanigans by clobbering me in the face 3 years ago. You should all make him a gift basket when this is over to show your gratitude. No need to thank me, of course. I'm just doing my job here. Now, let's go over some really basic non-combat endgame stuff, and we'll be ready to break. First, about CrAaAaAazy and CrAaAaAaAzy's mission. I alluded to a minute ago, and it's really important. Are you both listening? Yes?
No.
Okay, well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad. As long as CrAaAaAazy understands, that's mainly what matters, since she's the more important part of the equation.
Wow! I'm fucking shocked! What does she have to do?
You, both, have to go to Jade's planet and see Echidna. Even though the session's about as far from normal as it can possibly get, some of the basic rules still apply. Someone needs to seek an audience with her and get her to agree to release the Genesis frog, or the tadpole that'll grow up to become the frog, which is in the stage of development he's at in this point. Remember, CrAaAaAazy, you had to do this on your planet to get our frog released into Skya. Yes. She asked me to do something impossible, to which I replied, that's impossible. So she ended up demanding that I fight her, so I did, which made me feel sad. I'd rather not have to do that again. Will I have to do that again? If that's what she wants, then yes. Why does it have to be me, though? Because someone has to. Sources tell me this is the plan the Condessa had for you before we derailed all her shit. You keep talking about these sources. Who are all of these sources? Did Arqueus tell you this too? No, look, I've been busy, okay? Information is everywhere if you know where to look. Durst has a lot of agents on the inside who are wise to the old lady's plans. Shaking the bushes for good intel isn't that complicated. It only takes a little effort. Some people on this lily pad should maybe try looking into that sometime. If you say so. Would you just put a lid on it for a second and listen? Normally Jade would be the one to do this, but at the time Jade had become corrupted, so I guess Echidna wouldn't deal with her. And now Jade's asleep, which is exactly how she needs to stay. So that leaves the person Echidna requested in Jade's absence, which is you. I'm assuming because you were also a space player, so you'll be able to understand her garbled nonsense language. But that's not all there is to it. She also requested you bring CrAaAaAazy.
Ugh! Why the hell would you want to see me?
No idea. Denizens are mysterious. Maybe she just wants a night along, or a blood player. Or maybe she just has a bone to pick with you in particular. You know, since you and CrAaAaAazy were both involved in the frog breeding stuff in our session, and let's face it, you kind of messed it all up. You were pretty hasty and reckless about it, and the result was a defective frog. Sure, there's more to it than that, like problems with the human session that were totally interrelated with ours due to a cyclical time garbage loop. But you get the point. Echidna probably doesn't take kindly to people who are cavalier with the sacred frog duties. That's kind of her domain, like the propagation of existence and all of that. So maybe you've got some stuff to atone for before she agrees to let another precious frog out of her divine custody.
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Trying to make me feel bad about some ancient history, so I'll be nervous about this encounter. Well, I'll spare you the trouble. I'm already nervous. I don't want to go prostrate myself before a babbling snake goddess even under ideal circumstances.
CrAaAaAazy, relax. I'm guessing this will all be a sort of formality. That's how these things always struck me with her, like getting the blessing from a queen or some huge mythical matriarch before proceeding with some incredibly important event, or claiming a cosmic reward. Maybe just have to kill her again. I don't see the difference it makes. Really, who knows what her real purposes are? They're probably totally unfathomable. Echidna's kind of a big deal denizen, one of the real heavy hitters, like that other guy, the really strong one with the ridiculous name. She might even be the biggest deal. She's the mother of all denizens. I mean, not in a literal sense. Like, I really doubt she physically spawned them all. So if she wants you to do something, it's serious. And if you need to do that something of massive cosmic significance, like release a frog that contains an entire universe in its belly, then by the same token, you have to go through her. The other denizens are a bunch of petty grumbling riddle merchants by comparison. You should feel honored she even wants to see you.
How are we even sure she has a frog to release? Who made this frog? The jokers from this session? I thought they spent months doing nothing.
It's the same frog Jade made, with CrAaAAAA's help, remember? Hell, you might have even been involved in that process, too. I don't recall every single detail. But it fell in the forge on Jade's planet back in the old session, and now Jade's planet is here. Hence the frog is here, too. It's just been, let's say, hibernating inside the planet for a few years. Echidna kept it warm for us till we were ready, which is now.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. So the Condess was gonna make us do this originally anyway? Why?
Because her goal is pretty much the same as ours. Win the game and create a universe. The battle taking place here isn't over whether one's going to be created. It's over who gets to control it when it's made. Ideally, that would be us, rather than a genocidal fish dictator. In fact, we don't want anyone to control it. Nobody should control a universe. That's what bad guys try to do. We want it to be a nice little place to live, and free of any controlling influence that'll make my life miserable for the people who live there. Having an attitude about the ultimate reward that differs from that in any way is just another thing we fucked up the first time around. So let's just be clear on what we're fighting for here, got it?
Yeah, you made your point.
Next item, Earth. When you enter the new universe, you're going to need a planet to live on. Why not just resettle the one you all grew up on? The Condess kind of fucked it up, though. If you're in your scratched universe, she spent a few centuries getting it ready for the new troll paradise. She flooded the whole thing, so when you get there, you'll need to skip ahead on some time far into the future, when the oceans have receded. Should be livable by then. Hell, it might even be a pretty nice place. Here, John, take it. When the battle is over, make sure you give it to Jade.
What is it?
It's Earth. Remember how 3 years ago you told Terezi we needed your wallet, but you didn't have it? Well, in the time since, we talked about it a lot, and figured this was most likely the reason she told you to give it to us. It's not a big deal, actually. We spent some time deciphering the code for your wallet. It took a little while and a few lucky guesses on the code digits, but eventually we got there. Then I just used it to upgrade my much cooler 8-ball modus. Okay.
You hacked my dad's wallet?
Sure, like I said, we had some time on our hands. It is, after all, just a fucking wallet. It's not like it's some legendary item he got on some mythical dad quest. I mean, he did buy the thing somewhere, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I still think it's pretty special.
Nope. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's literally just a wallet. Anyway, then, before I did the scouting work on this session, I rode the meteor through the gate, watched it crash on Earth, and then just capture logged the whole damn thing and got it out of there. No sweat. Probably like Grimbark Jade was supposed to, if she wasn't asleep. Again, it's a pretty good plan. She just never saw me coming. Sorry, Condi. If you want your waterlogged little globe back, you'll have to pry it from John's dead hands now.
Yeah.
Those are the important things to remember. But don't forget the basics. Remember to finish building up your hives as far as they'll go. Then deploy the grist rigs, which will disperse your planet's hordes into Skya, giving it the nutrients it needs to mature the frog. This is Scrub 101 stuff, but I guess it bears repeating since most of you never actually even made it this far. When the hordes are empty and Skya is ready, then all you have to do is make sure someone's in position to ignite the forge. Then everyone rendezvous back here on the lily pad to claim the ultimate reward, which is represented by the hive-shaped thing on the door which leads to a new universe. Any questions before we kick into action?
Yeah, I have one. Vriska, what's your part in all of this? Aside from making all these airtight plans. You've been making it sound like you won't be here when all of this happens.
Of course I won't. I'll be off doing something much more important than all of this. I'm traveling to the furthest ring to go kill Lord English.
What? Wow, isn't that going to be, hard?
Of course it will be.
Are you sure you can even do that? Like, by yourself, I mean?
John, I'm not an idiot. I won't be diving into this blindly. See, somewhere out there is the incomprehensible causal stew of the furthest ring. There was once a plan that was coming together to defeat him once and for all. It involved a secret weapon, an army, and all sorts of other shenanigans.
Yeah, that, sounds weirdly familiar.
Oh, I'm sure it does. But the point is, along the way, that plan stalled out. It went nowhere because the party involved disintegrated and lost their way. So someone needs to light a fire under that shit again, and I don't see anyone else stepping forward.
How are you going to do that?
Let me worry about that. You have your hands full enough as it is.
So is that it? Is this, like, the end of the cool strategy jam / fun reunion?
That's it. That's the whole situation, my whole plan, and everything you need to do. Good luck, everyone.
Human golf clap.
Thanks, Pyro.
Alright, so what now? I guess we head to, what was it, Low Jade? Like right now, since I guess the clock is ticking?
Lofoff, and yes.
Right. And we're supposed to go after the Condes really soon too, right?
Condense? He said condense. I used to say that. Okay. Condes, and yes.
But not, like, right away. There's still a couple hours for us to prepare, which we should probably use, and then come up with a fighting strategy.
Yeah.
I wish Jade and Nana could be awake for this. I really want to talk to them and let them in on all of the cool stuff we're about to do. I guess they'll have to stay asleep for a while, though. Oh well. Hey, Jake. Huh? Wanna come make plans with us? We can figure out how to deal with Robot Jack and whatever hooligans he's bringing. Oh, yes, thanks, John. Maybe. Okay.
Hey, Dave, we should probably work out a fighting strategy too, since it sounds like we got a real nasty one to deal with. Yeah, but... What? I don't know. It just feels weird to make some battle plans when one of our team members still isn't here. Well, I think we can at least outline the strategy, right? Figure out how we'll approach a villain with his particular strengths and weaknesses, and assume our third member will be ready to fight if we tell him to. Yeah, I'm sure if Teen Hard-Ass Strider shows up with his sword and shades and shit and we say, hey dude, look, bad guy, go kill, I'm sure that guy'll be more than willing to oblige. It's just... Man... What? It feels wrong, planning around him, like he's a weird hypothetical battle mannequin. From the things I've heard about him from your own personal mouth, that actually sounds like a pretty apt description to me. No, it's more complicated than that, and I'm supposed to be getting ready for this huge deadly battle, which is so much more intense than anything I've ever done. Even like 3 years back, when I was actually doing adventure shit instead of watching Dane Cook movies. And somehow be all geared up for this, and meet my team bro for the first time, and say, oh, there you are, that's cool. Let's fight this random indestructible asshole, and then like, hug bump or something. How do I deal with this? I think I could end up getting us all killed, and none of you are taking this seriously.
Okay, Strider, I've heard enough.
Huh?
I've been more than patient and more than accommodating, but your hang-ups regarding your ancestor are starting to border on pathetic.
Hey, why don't you can it?
Carcat, stay out of this.
No, I won't. Not if you're gonna start thrashing people with respect to their sensitive issues in a manner that is way over the line as far as basic ground rules of good-natured shit-talking goes. Ground rules on which I happen to be an expert. Either make sure your trash mouth incentive is critically constructive or shut up.
You said I wasn't being constructive. God, I cut him all the slack I could in the world on this, but I see it isn't doing him or any of us any good at all, and I'm just going to have to expedite matters. Go figure, leave it all to Vriska once again.
What the fuck are you even going to do?
I told you. I'm expediting matters.
Wait, what the fuck is that?
Pew! That's just a gun that shoots windows? How long have we had that? This seems like a great place to end it, because now Dirk is back. And honestly, I need to get my Dirk and Dave voices straight anyway.
Because Dave is like this, and I think Dirk is like down here. And that's like the only difference between them, really. But it works, kind of, you know? It's just hard to switch between the two, so I gotta do some, like, practice, you know? No, actually, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. I hope. Anyway.
Thanks for watching this episode.
This was just like, you know, should I title it Battle Preparations? Kind of makes sense. If you go onto my channel and search Battle Preparations. Okay, there's 2 videos, but there should be 3. One of them was from my first Fire Emblem series, where it was just like the final preparations for the final battle, and I was just choosing who I wanted to take to the final battle and stuff. Then the other one's from the Warlock, but there should be one for 3 houses as well. But maybe not. Anyway, that's basically what this was. It was just like figuring out who we're going to take to the battles and what they're going to do, and giving them all their weapons and stuff. So hey, there we go. Question of the video. Well, how do I phrase this? If you were here, which team do you think you would most likely get scouted onto? I'm assuming most of you have done, like me, the Homestuck aspect quiz or whatever. I should look at that now, actually, again. It's been a while. And I have the page up already because I went and searched up battle preparations anyway. Extended Zodiac, there it is. Hold on. I forgot I had other stuff in this. I'm like, why is it 45 seconds long? This is before I really knew what like 80% of this meant, which is crazy. On something. Nope, still not there. Okay, I was a harp player, that's for sure. Remember that. Hold on, let me just take a look at more. I was Prospit as well, which also makes sense to me. I didn't even know what Lunar Sway meant. That's so funny thinking about it now. Does it give you like a class spec? I don't think it does. No. It just gives you an aspect. So anyway, I'm a harp player. Prospect Dreamer. I wonder if there's a class quiz. Also, I just realized I forgot to do the tier list. I'll start the next episode with the tier list, okay? I'm sorry. I forgot. And that'll work because doing Vriska for that long kind of wore out my voice anyway. And we gotta stall because we're getting close to the end. And then what am I gonna do? So maybe the next episode I'll just do a tier list and a class quiz if that's possible. And then we can figure out the full class spec thing. Could be fun. Okay. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.